Hi, so I have another Dendrobium success to share. This is Dendrobium aphyllum, and it bloomed. And the flowers are really pretty. They're very delicate. They're not dark, they're very soft and pale pink. And look very nice. The flowers are not fragrant. I did not detect any fragrance, but they're very pretty. And I like the pendant nature of this plant. And the fact that the leaves did not drop. See this cane? The old canes, there are two old canes on this plant. They don't have any leaves, but the new cane that I grew here, it has all the leaves still on. I think it looks a bit prettier with the leaves. There's flowers there. Very nice. I'm very happy that I was able to bloom this one. So far I could bloom senile, the scabrilingue, the nobile Dendrobium that Lucy the cat gave me, and yeah, so that's another Dendrobium in my list of successful bloomings. I hope you like it. Now, since we're looking at Dendrobiums, I'd like to go over the others to see what they are doing. So I'll start with the bad news. This is my Dendrobium jenkinsii, who had 7 spikes, 5 here at the top, and there were 2 in between those canes there. All of them got browned and wilted. And I have no idea why. Last year it happened, plant was in outside of thing, so I thought maybe it was too dry, but now it was inside of thing. And it still happened, so now I'm thinking maybe it's too wet in here, too humid. So next year I'm going to keep it just on an IKEA shelf here in Orchid room, which is not too dry because it keeps about 50-55% humidity, my humidifier, but it's not as wet as inside of thing. I need to figure it out. I can see other people blooming this species, but me, second time in a row this thing happens, and I don't know why. Plant looks very healthy. So it already started new canes, but yeah, it dropped the buds. There were already little buds, and they just browned and wilted. Don't know why. Now, all the good news. There's Dendrobium Hibiki, who just started to open the first cluster of blooms. There's the second cluster just below. And so this one will be in bloom for a while. I really love it. And look at that cane that is growing. It's huge. See, it's huge and shiny comparing to the previous ones. So I think it likes my thing. It did not require any special treatment for those buds to appear. So just sitting here in the tank, enjoying hot and humid, and producing this cane and those flowers. So that's a nice plant to have, because it's like effortless to grow and to bloom. Now just behind it, there's my senile, who dropped the bloom just recently. It was holding the yellow bloom for more than a month, I think almost 2 months. And now it's growing new cane. So I'm hoping there will be more than one new cane. I put it there to have lights coming from the right because plant was kind of growing all on the left. So I keep it here for a while, then I'll move it to another place to have light from different sides. so it's on not one-sided kind of plant. So it's doing great. It's growing new bulb. I think it's gonna be good. Now there's my Dendrobium scabrilingue in tank also. It just started to yield the blooms, which were on for a couple months also. And look there at the bottom, that black thing there, focus, that's the new pseudobulb coming up. I'm sorry about the moss, it's really disgusting. So when the bulb will become a little bit larger, I will repot it. It's just an algae because it grows like crazy in my tank, and I'm sure underneath of the top layer the moss is fine. But it looks gross, I know, sorry. But the good news is the new growth makes me really happy. I was sure I'm gonna lose this plant because it has no roots. But as somebody, I think Gabrielle said, that after it finishes blooming, it will start new cane, and it did. Yay! Now this one here is my Dendrobium tobaense, which is also the black-haired Dendrobium. And it's been growing really, really well. I bought it as a seedling, and those 3 old canes were that's how high it was. But now look, it grew me this tall cane. So I'm hoping that soon it'll bloom. You see those little black spots there? Yeah, there. Those black spots, judging by scabrilingue, that's where the bud will come from. So I'm looking forward to it blooming someday, hopefully soon too. Now this is Dendrobium aggregatum. Rescatzel gave it to me. That's a half of her plant. And it's growing new bulb here, see? I didn't really expect it to bloom because I just received it like recently, last summer. So I think it needs to establish before blooming. And I think this new bulb is a nice way to go for this plant. It looks healthy. So I'm hoping for the blooms next year. Hopefully. It's doing great. Now these 2 plants are Dendrobium farmeri, farmeri, that just broke into pieces when I was potting it. So this part here will go to Lucy the cat, Beverly, when the weather will become a bit warmer. And I can see little swellings here on the bulbs. So it might actually, I think, produce buds or spike. If, see, that one. Let me focus, if I can. It's hard to focus. There is some swelling. So maybe she will receive it with spikes starting. That would be exciting. And this is the part that I'm going to keep. And well, I don't see any swellings there. Or maybe there is one there. So hopefully this one will produce the spikes too. Otherwise, plant looks very nice. And both of them actually look healthy and nice. They have lots of roots. My Dendrobiums do like to grow in coconut husks. The clay pot with coconut husks, they grow roots like crazy. So I use that medium for many of my Dendrobiums. So those are the farmeries, 2 of them. Now this plant that grows far and wide into every direction is my Dendrobium anosmum. This is old cane that it came with. See, it's fat, but doesn't have anything on it. This is the cane that I grew last year. Doesn't have anything either. And so it started to grow new cane this year. So I think there's no hope for any blooms for me. And this one, I used to grow it mounted, but I noticed that my cane is a bit thinner than the one it came with. So I thought maybe I was underwatering it on the mount. And well, I didn't want to rip it off the mount. So what I did, I carefully cut the wood or cork around and placed it into this pot and put moss underneath and on the top. So it's kind of like on the mount, but it's also potted. So I hope this new cane will grow better or fatter rather. And my aphyllum, the one that bloomed, actually has the same setup. I had them similarly mounted. They were beside each other. But then I decided that they need a little bit more moisture, more humidity and more water. And so I kind of potted them mounted inside of those pots. Just wanted to show you the blooms again, sorry. They're beautiful. Now this is the plant that I really like. It just finished blooming and dropped the blooms. This is nobile, across from Beverly, Lucy the cat. It had beautiful, large, huge and fragrant blooms. And now look, it's growing me 2 new pseudobulbs. I'm so happy. And also it grows in coconut husk chips. And it looks like it loves it, so I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna repot it or anything. I'm just gonna keep it there. And so as far as I understood, these bulbs will bloom next year, because this one from the year before, this is from the last year, and so this from the last year didn't bloom, but this older bloomed. Now next year I'm hoping this will bloom, but these new ones will not bloom. That's what I understood. I don't know if that's correct, but that's the plan that I think this plant has. I can't believe I never bought those hybrids. I saw them, but I thought they are hard to grow and bloom. Apparently they are not that hard. I love it. And this is the last one of my dendrobiums. This is Dendrobium findlayanum, and well, I'm not sure what it's doing. I put it on a top shelf and just let it do whatever it wants to, because there is a lot of room, so it can grow any direction. There are some mature bulbs that the plant came with, and there are also some keikis. Like this is the keiki that last year it produced, and that's another keiki, I think. And now it's growing more keiki. And there's also that swelling there, which I'm not sure what it is. Can you focus? So we'll see what it is. It might be keiki, it might be bud, or it might do nothing. So that's findlayanum. It's still a little bit stranger to me. So some leaves are not looking very good. And I'm not sure why. I do care for it the same way as other dendrobiums, and I'm watching it. So we'll see what comes of it. That's Dendrobium findlayanum. So this was my Dendrobium tour, along with these blooms. I really like them. I bought anosmum and aphyllum because I couldn't decide between two, and now I like aphyllum more because it bloomed. But it's not fragrant. And I read that anosmum is really fragrant, so I hope that one blooms too. But for now I'm happy with these blooms. I hope you like them. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.